Okay, welcome everybody. I am so excited to be here with you today as we're going to be sharing some incredible information about how we can biohack our bodies. It's really just incredible and exciting information. And we're excited to have people joining in on this call today from all over the world. I am in Washington State here in America, and my name is Melody Sjören, and I am here with Lee Zelina from Ohio in the United States as well. And as a health professional myself, I have been trained as a dental hygienist and was raised with a physician or doctor as a dad. So I've grown up around the medical and wellness communities. And Lee Zelina in Ohio is a speech therapist. And so she works with children and helps them be better communicators and better with their communication. And she also has an incredible platform of working with horses as well, and has a horse. So I'm sure she'll share a little bit about that as we continue. So in talking about biohacking today, this may be a new concept. And why we're so passionate about sharing about biohacking is because everyone is hijacked. We're all living in a society where we are bombarded physically, emotionally, biochemically with EMFs, toxins, radiation. Like, there's just so many things in our environment today where our bodies are being bombarded and hijacked. And sometimes whether we have a official diagnosis of being sick with a problem, that doesn't mean our bodies still are at the optimum of where they should be to experience quality of life and wellness and health. So biohacking is an approach where we take control of our own biology and we optimize our genetic potential so that we can be the healthiest and best version of ourselves. And specifically today, we're going to be focusing on how we can use nutrigenomics to do this. And nutrigenomics is the study of how naturally occurring compounds and herbs affect our genes so that we are living our best life possible. And some people, whether they've heard of the term biohacking or not, are already biohackers through making healthy choices like drinking water over soda, using essential oils, myself using glasses that block the blue light from the computer screen, turning your Wi-Fi off at night, things like that. So nutrigenomics is just another component to all of those. And I'm excited to share with you more about that as we go along. So one of the biggest ways that we are hijacked is through something called oxidative stress. And this may be a new term, and maybe you're more familiar with the term free radicals. But basically, as free radicals are accumulating in our body, which is a natural process, as they're accumulating in our body, what happens is we actually are basically experiencing rusting of our cells from the inside out. And so this free radicals is causing this oxidation. So if you think of a car, I used to live in Michigan where they would put salt on the roads, and literally it was inevitable that at some point in the life of your vehicle, it would start to rust. Pretty much. It was like very hard to avoid. And so just like that rusting process can happen, and just like the oxidation process is happening here with this apple, the same can be experienced inside our body. And so everyone is dealing with oxidative stress, and it's something that is accumulating every day in every person. And what happens is as we age, we're just getting a greater and larger accumulation of oxidative stress in our body. And here on this slide, you can see that oxidative stress is not good. It affects all the organs in our body in a harmful way. So the more we have, the bigger the problem is. So why should we care? And what can we do about it? Because if we know about something that's a problem, it's important to do something about it. So, and also be educated about how there is hope that we can do something about it. So I'm going to move on to talk about antioxidants. And antioxidants should be something that we all have heard about. And really, as a society, we've come to an understanding that antioxidants are good for us, right? We want antioxidants because that can help with free radicals, correct?
Yeah.
Well, what happens is that the antioxidants that we take only are able to neutralize one free radical for every molecule. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And there is an incredible scientist and biochemist in the States who discovered that our body actually has its own internal primary antioxidants. And these are much more powerful and much more effective because they're designed to eradicate free radicals at the rate of 1 million per second per cell. So would you rather have 1-to-1 or 1,000,000-to-1? Well, if we have oxidative stress and free radicals accumulating at such a rapid rate, and it's like a crazy number of like 300 sextillion per day, the 1-to-1 is just not really cutting it to deal with the problem. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this doctor, what he realized as he was doing his research and when he discovered this, he said, okay, so our body naturally has SOD catalase glutathione, but this is something that our body has in the right amounts and ratios when we're children. And as we age, these decrease as our problem of oxidative stress is increasing. And so that seems kind of backwards because we should want to have them working effectively the older we get versus slowing down. So basically the bad guys are increasing as we age and the good guys are decreasing. I apologize for the noise. My husband has the day off and he's doing some construction because we're building a camper van. Anyways, so this doctor basically found that through NRF2 activation, we can activate our body to start producing these antioxidants and basically turn on the genes to communicate that our body is needing more of these. And let's keep making sure they're working. So this shows the 1-to-1 ratio with direct antioxidants and with NRF2 activation that activates the SOD catalase and glutathione, it's a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. So the NRF2 turns on our body's production of catalase, glutathione, and SOD. And there is a study on PubMed.gov that actually shows the percentages of how these primary antioxidants are increased through the NRF2 activator that we are going to be sharing about today. So the NRF2 activator that we will talk about more is made out of 5 ingredients: milk thistle, bacopa, turmeric, ashwagandha, and green tea. And it's basically comprised into a synergistic blend that activates this NRF2 pathway. So by themselves, these ingredients, because sometimes people say, well, I already take turmeric, or I already take ashwagandha or bacopa, so I should be good, or maybe I can make my own recipe. Well, this doctor who formulated, or this, biochemist who formulated this incredible activator, it took him over 40 years to come up with the right amount and the right ratio. And by themselves, these ingredients do not significantly impact or activate this pathway, but together they have an expression that's 1,800 times more effective than the individual ingredients. So basically, this incredible doctor, Dr. Joe McCord, he spent his life researching and developing a way to activate this NRF2 pathway. And what happened is he, for just discovering that our body has SOD in it, was given the Elliott Crescent Medal. So for discovering that our body has its own antioxidants, he was given the medal that was given to the Wright brothers for the discovery of flight, to Alexander Graham Bell, Marie Curie, very significant people who have made discoveries that are like turn of the century. I mean, us being able to fly is huge. So discovering that our body has its own antioxidants is huge. So he was given this award, and after being given the award, that was when he decided we need to actually find a way to increase our SOD, because it's a problem that there's not very much. And when he had an article published in the Wall Street Journal about how he was having oxidative stress reduced in anyone from 20 to 80 years old, that really caught the attention of the news. They're like, that can't possibly be true. This is too good to be true. So they went and had an investigation done because they thought, well, maybe this is snake oil or too good to be true, that kind of thing. And when they went in to do the investigation, they did blood work on this gentleman here, John Quinones, and his oxidative stress was reduced by 45% in 2 weeks. And so instead of like saying that this was a scam, it really validated the research, because the research that was published said oxidative stress would be reduced by an average of 40% in 30 days. So his oxidative stress was reduced by 45% in 2 weeks. And that's just absolutely incredible. So after this live news report aired, obviously a lot of people wanted Protandim. A lot of orders came in. What happened is they were just a scientific company. They didn't have inventory. They didn't have a good way of responding to the significant interest. So it was about 9 months to a year later before they had products to fill those orders. And by then people had forgotten, lost interest. And so they started selling Protandim on the shelves of stores. And what happened is you have this bottle of Protandim next to vitamin C. Nobody knows what Protandim is. Nobody knows what NRF2 activation is. So people weren't buying it, and the company was going in debt because it was costing them more money to keep it on the shelf than what people were actually purchasing. And meanwhile, pharmaceutical companies wanted to buy the patents from Dr. Joe McCord, and he did not want to have them do that. So what happened is they consulted with different people to find out what would be the best way for us to be a successful company. And they said, you know what, with the way trends are going, this would be a perfect fit for network marketing or referral-based marketing, which is where people share with people. You cut out a lot of the costs because it's shipped directly from the manufacturer to the consumer. And you use a platform that people use all the time, which is sharing what you have a positive experience with. Just like if you read a good book, you tell your friend. If you go see a good movie, you tell your friend. If you go to a good restaurant, you tell your friend. If you have a great experience with NRF2 activation, you tell your friend. So it was the perfect fit. And we're a publicly traded company that's 10 years old, publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and we're just doing really well with this platform. So after that news report aired, we did have a huge interest from universities and prestigious medical centers all over the world because they wanted to do research on NRF2 activation. Louisiana State University did a study on how the Protandim NRF2 affected skin tumors. The American Heart Association published an article about how this has a positive effect on heart health. And that's huge because the American Heart Association does not usually study or publish anything about herbal anything. It's always, pharmaceutical. So one of the studies that was done by Washington State University, and this is just a highlight from that study. NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So therapeutic means get well, and preventative means stay well. So if you're already healthy, let's, enjoy that long term. Let's stay well. And if you're being bombarded by oxidative stress or your body is just hijacked on multiple levels, how about we get rid of that oxidative stress and start feeling better too? So I'm going to turn the time over to Lee Zelina just for a few minutes, if you're still here, Lee. And I'll just let her talk about a few slides as well.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We have an NRF2 pathway in our bodies, and our activator that activates the NRF2 pathway is called protandem NFR2, and it does a great job at reducing oxidative stress, as we said, in about 30 days. And it actually is correct to say that it's doing anti-aging at the cell level. And how it does this, it activates our own systems to produce its own group of antioxidants. And the three major ones are glutathione, catalase, and SOD. And by doing this, it's actually giving your body the tools to help basically heal itself. And it simply reduces oxidative stress, reduces inflammation that is caused by oxidative stress. And because oxidative stress is the cause of over 200 diseases, it's really giving our bodies the tools that it needs to help heal itself. Mm-hmm. And really, our body is the only thing that can truly heal itself. Mm-hmm. And I was ill just about a year ago. It started in February of 2018, and I think it was because of stress-related types of things. And the doctors weren't sure what was wrong with me. I had tests. I didn't have pneumonia. I didn't have strep throat. But I was put on an antibiotic, and that didn't really help me either. But the thing that did cause to happen is issues with digestion. And I had digestive issues for over a year. And I tried everything. I mean, I had some really good things offered to me, probiotics, golden seal. I ate differently, but nothing really helped. But after I ended up going to the doctor's office, I didn't go to our family doctor's office because I typically only go there to have an annual physical, but and because of insurance, they'll only you know, pay to have you go there like once a year to have that done. So I just kind of waited. But I was thinking that I had colon cancer or C. diff, and I even went to a gastroenterologist as well. Luckily, I didn't have that. But to make a long story short, I ended up the doctor's office, the RN, who happened to be the doctor's wife, recommended a probiotic, and then eventually the Protandim NFR2. And little by little, I started feeling better, and I started healing and everything else. And I also have a horse that has had lameness issues for like 5 years. And I've done a lot of different things with him, spent thousands of dollars. And I ended up hearing that horse owners give their horses the NRF2. So I did research, started him on 2 tablets a day as of February of this year. And I wasn't able to ride him all winter. And then as of, it took about 6.5 weeks, I saw him get better and better and better. And after 6.5 weeks, I was able to exercise him, ride him, and I've been riding him ever since, and he's doing phenomenal. And I've actually posted before and after pictures on our site as well. So it's just a really good thing to take if you're already sick, to try to regain health. And if you think you're pretty healthy, it's also excellent to keep you healthy. And probably even if you don't realize that you have anything going on, you'll be even healthier than you did before you started it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Lee. That's just wonderful to hear your story again. And just thank you so much. We're really happy for you and how well you and Magic are doing. So for those of you who are guests on this call, Anita will be able to invite you, or whoever invited you to the call can invite you to that page for our team where you can see those incredible videos of Magic, because it's definitely worth watching to see how her horse has benefited. So I'm just going to come back here to the PowerPoint and we'll finish up. But in addition to activating the NRF2 pathway and having the antioxidants increase, it's also regulating what are called our body's survival genes. And I do like to highlight that this is NSF. It has the seal for NSF and BSCG. So it's totally safe for athletes and animals, just like Lee mentioned. And we do have a published study by the National Institute on Aging where they were studying if anything affects lifespan. And what they found was that Protandim NRF2 does increase lifespan in male mice by 7%, which is incredible. So the survival genes that are affected by NRF2, this is a slide showing how our genes can look in the presence of being hijacked. So our genes are expressing themselves here, some of them too much and some of them not enough. And there's an incredible lecture by Dr. McCord where he goes through all of this, but basically, to keep it really simple, when you start taking the Protandim NRF2, it starts to level out how those genes are expressing themselves. So the ones that are too low increase, and that can be an example of the SOD glutathione catalase, where it's saying, okay, body, wake up, we need to make more of these good things. But then there's things that are negatively overexpressed, and those are brought back down through the NRF2 activation, regulating how the genes express themselves. So this shows an example of an overexpression of fibrotic scar tissue being brought back down to a good level, which we don't want too much of that. So Another way that our bodies are hijacked is through mitochondria dysfunction. And mitochondria dysfunction pretty much affects everything that oxidative stress doesn't, or they cross over and they're both affecting these things. And mitochondria are the powerhouse of our cells. So they are what take food energy and convert it into cell energy. And if our mitochondria aren't producing the cell energy that we need, they're not able to fight and, like Lee said, support our body's health to allow us to be fighting the issues that we're exposed to and stay healthy. So really, it's essential to have healthy mitochondria, because then we're having healthy energy. And today we're seeing so many people reach for stimulants and coffee and energy drinks, and all of those things are very harmful for our body, and we really don't need them. We don't need that extra sugar or caffeine or stimulation. What we need is cellular energy, so that we're having energy from an internal source. So what's incredible is there is another protandum NRF1 pathway, and this pathway affects over 2,400 genes that are related to having healthy mitochondria. So the protandum NRF2 affects the genes that are related to the survival genes for detoxification and all of that. And then the protandum NRF1 affects a whole different set of genes that supports cell energy and increased cell energy production, and increased and enhanced cellular health, so that our cells are functioning at peak performance. And it's incredible to hear how with the protandum NRF2 and NRF1, people really experience deeper, better quality sleep, as their cells are just working so much better to repair while they're sleeping, etc. So these two work so well together. We call them our 1-2 punch, the NRF2 for detoxification and the NRF1 for improving cell energy and function. So it's really incredible how they work together. And as Lee mentioned, her doctor and nurse started her with our ProBio, because she really was struggling with a lot of those gut issues. And so getting the gut in a really good place was key for helping her body heal. And as she mentioned, she had tried a lot of different probiotics previously. And so sometimes it's easy to wonder, well, what makes this different? And why should I try something different if I'm already using a probiotic? Well, if you are using a liquid probiotic or a capsule probiotic, liquids, which have to be refrigerated, as soon as we ingest them, our stomach acid changes the pH, the temperature is changed, and those probiotics start to destroy. Probiotics are also very sensitive to air and moisture, and if they're in a capsule, if you shake them, there's some air in there, and there's also some moisture in the capsule. So those probiotics start to be destroyed even while they're in the capsule. So, and they're also not protected from the stomach acid or temperature changes. So that's why so many times probiotics have a huge number of the CFUs, because they're just trying and hoping that some of them will get to where they need to go. So with this probiotic, there's a lot less of the CFUs. It's 6 billion versus trillions and trillions. But it's the right amount of the right bacteria. And then what's incredible is we have BioTrack and Wellmune technology. So BioTrack is a freeze-dried gel barrier technology to protect the probiotic all the way through as it's going through the systems. And the Wellmune supports immunity. So being well and staying healthy is largely a reflection of how healthy your gut is. And so people who have healthy guts often are not getting as sick and things like that. And the Wellmune is just incredible. So both of these technologies, Wellmune and BioTrack, you can do research on PubMed.gov and find more research about how incredible those technologies are. So the survival rate of this probiotic is over 60%, 60% when taken with food and closer to 90% when taken with water. And it really is an awesome probiotic. And in Europe, it's called Pro Plus. So the ProBio is Pro Plus as well. They have a slightly different name depending on which country you're getting it from, but it's the exact same thing. And the last, we call these first four products the core four, because they affect all the four major systems of the body. The Protandim Nerve 2 for detoxification, the Protandim Nerve 1 for improved energy and cell performance, the Pro Plus or ProBio for gut health, and then the Omega is kind of that last core pillar, which is supporting having a healthy brain, having a healthy cardiovascular system, skin health, immune health, and it contains omega-3s and 7s and vitamin D. The omega-7 support metabolism and weight management. And what I like to highlight is a lot of times omegas are filled with omega-6s. And as a society, because of the way our food is, we get way too many omega-6s in our diet. So we definitely don't need to supplement with more omega-6s because we have too many already. So unfortunately, omega-6s are often just used as filler because they're less expensive and not as hard to get. But this omega does not have any omega-6s. It just has the 3s and 7s that we need. And it's traceable from boat to bottle, and it's double distilled for purity. And I like to call this a fish oil with no fishy taste, no fishy burps. It actually tastes really good. It has like a lemon lime flavor, and kids and adults sometimes chew them because they taste so good. So this system we like to call vitality because it just really supports overall health. And as I mentioned, the mitochondria, healthy gut, reduces oxidative stress, supports immune health and function, heart health, brain health, and improved energy. So I'm just going to talk about a couple more things. But as we mentioned earlier, there was a study done by Louisiana State University on how Protandim Nerve 2 affected skin tumors. And the results of that study were so significant with the decrease that they saw during the course of the study that they realized it would really be beneficial to have a way of applying this Nerve 2 technology from the outside in. So this 4-step system has Nerve 2 activation in it. It has a clean rating on the Think Dirty app, so it's non-toxic, and it allows people to have an inside-out approach with Nerve 2 activation. And here's just a few pictures of how that has been beneficial for individuals. And there are studies showing how the Nerve 2 activation is beneficial for the skin and also how it's beneficial for our scalp and our hair follicle. And so there were people actually applying this to their hair and scalp as well. So as I mentioned earlier, this platform for sharing this information has been moved to referral-based marketing. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because we live in a gig economy where social entrepreneurship has been really one of the fastest growing platforms today. So we see Uber replacing taxis. You can call up a taxi on your phone. It's really a novel idea, and you can run a taxi business from your phone. We have HelloFresh, at least here in the States, where you can order your groceries to your doorstep. Airbnb has really taken off and is a threat to hotels and traditional ways of having lodging when you travel. Facebook allows people to connect all over the world, ordering clothes to your door, Amazon, So network marketing is really just a platform that combines this social gig economy with relationships and referrals of the things that we're having a positive experience with. And it really is wonderful because, a lot of people who start their own businesses and different things like that, it's a huge investment. It takes a lot of work, and it's also a lot of overhead. And with this business, we're basically just sharing the products that we know and love. We have an incredible platform, an incredible company that is just growing, and basically our products that we consume are our overhead, and then we have a beautiful website to send people to so that they can get these products for the best price possible and have them shipped straight from the manufacturer to the consumer. So we don't carry inventory, and it really is wonderful how this whole system is set up. And when I first heard about Nerve 2 activation and Protandim, because of my background with my dad as a doctor and wellness, and just how we really didn't believe in Western medicine and really felt that when our body is given the right tools, it is capable of healing and repairing and storing, I was just so blown away by the peer-reviewed research and everything that was available that I knew this was going to be very big. And for myself and my husband, we wanted to use the products for prevention and also therapeutic benefits. And we've experienced such great results. We decided to start sharing with others and wanting to help other people as well. Over the 3 years that we've been involved, I've actually been able to move to doing this full time. And my plan is to retire him as well. And it's wonderful to think about things where we can have freedom because we're helping other people. And when it comes to just business in general, there's always a stage where people don't know about something to a time where everybody knows about something. So if you can, if you have the interest or desire to help other people, it's wonderful when you can be the one sharing with them about it versus being at the time where it's just a saturated market. And we're a very young company, only 10 years old. And so it's a wonderful time to be part of the company and sharing with other people. And it's also incredible how we're open in so many countries and expanding all the time. We have now added Ireland and New Zealand and France to the list of countries that are open for distributors as well. But as we expand into new countries, we usually open a customer program first to make sure that there's a high level of interest of people who are wanting to get started. So basically, I like to highlight this form right here because we are a publicly traded company. We have rankings with the company. Jennifer is a Pro 2. She's been doing this for a couple months, and we're so delighted to have Anita joining us. Lee is a Pro 3, and I am a Pro 6 with LifeVantage. So you can see an average monthly for Pro 2 is $254 US. Pro 3 is $636 US on average, and the Pro 6 is on average over $6,000 US. So this is real numbers with averages that are being done with the company. So, as we share this information, our ultimate goal is to help people be healthy and just really propel the movement forward of people becoming biohackers and taking control of their health. And so typically when people hear this information, they fall into one of three categories. And the first category are the people who want to experience the product for themselves and see how they benefit their body. And the second category are usually people who don't see the value for themselves, but maybe they think of other people who they'd like to share the information with. And they can refer those people back to their friends. So like, let's say Anita invited you or Jennifer invited you. Even if you don't, want to implement this for yourself, if you want to send referrals their way, that definitely is appreciated. And then there are the people who get excited, like myself and Lee and Jennifer and, Anita, where not only do we want to benefit ourselves, but we also want to share and help other people. And so if you are interested in sharing with others, we always welcome you to the team. We can discuss the options for getting started. And basically, it's very simple. It's just, purchasing the products for personal use and then getting a website set up so that other people can purchase through you. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. I'm going to go ahead and just open up the time for questions. If anybody has questions, we can definitely, answer them now. And